What is up, everybody? Billionaire 53 here, and let's be honest, we've all got a toy or two stashed away in our attic, right? Maybe it's something you haven't thought about in years. Maybe it's a dusty old action figure, a forgotten board game, or even a collection of trading cards. Or perhaps a doll missing an eye, a bit worse for wear but still holding those childhood memories. Well, guess what? Some of those toys could be worth serious cash today. Yes, you heard that right. I'm talking about thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars for the right piece of nostalgic plastic. I know, right? Mind-blowing. Imagine turning your childhood memories into a small fortune. So get ready to dust off those memory banks and maybe even your old toy bins, because today we're diving deep into the world of valuable vintage toys. It's time to see if your attic is hiding a treasure trove. We're talking about the holy grails, the hidden treasures, the toys that'll make you say, "Wait, I had that?" and then realize its incredible value. Stick around to the very end because you never know, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. So let's get started and uncover those hidden gems together. All right, let's kick things off with a classic Monopoly. Everyone's played it, everyone's argued over it, and some lucky ducks even owned the original version. We're not talking about the ones you find on shelves today. We're talking about the OG Monopoly, hand-drawn by Charles Darrow himself back in the 1930s. This wasn't just a game, it was practically a work of art. And guess what? One of these original hand-drawn Monopoly boards sold for a whopping $146,500. That's right, enough to buy an actual house on Boardwalk. So, if you happen to have an old Monopoly board lying around, especially if it looks a little, shall we say, artisanal, you might want to get it appraised. Next up, we're marching into the world of G.I. Joe. These weren't just action figures. They were heroes, soldiers, adventurers. And some of those early G.I. Joes are now worth a small fortune. Take, for example, the 1963 prototype G.I. Joe. This bad boy was the first ever G.I. Joe action figure, and it's insanely rare. How rare? Well, it once sold for a jaw-dropping $200,000. That's like enough to buy a whole army of modern-day action figures. But even if you don't have the prototype, don't worry. Other early G.I. Joe figures, especially those in mint condition, can still fetch a pretty penny. Let's be real. Who didn't love Star Wars growing up? And if you were lucky enough to snag some of those original Star Wars action figures, you might be sitting on a gold mine. We're talking about Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Han Solo, the whole gang. But the real prize? A mint-condition Boba Fett action figure from 1979. This little guy, with his dented helmet and mysterious aura, once sold for a staggering $150,000. That's like enough to buy your own Millennium Falcon. Okay, maybe not a real one, but you get the idea. So, if you've got any vintage Star Wars figures gathering dust, it's time to check their value. Chapter 4, Hot Wheels. These tiny cars mean big bucks. All right, buckle up because we're about to enter the fast-paced and thrilling world of Hot Wheels. These miniature cars have been a childhood staple for decades, sparking joy and imagination in kids and collectors alike. But did you know that some of these tiny cars are now worth more than actual cars? I'm talking about rare models like the 1969 pink rear-loading Volkswagen Beach Bomb, a true gem in the Hot Wheels universe. This little pink van with its surfboards hanging out the back is one of the rarest and most valuable Hot Wheels ever made. Its unique design and limited production make it highly sought after by collectors. How valuable, you ask? Well, it once sold for a mind-blowing $175,000 at an auction. That's right, enough to buy a whole fleet of real-life Volkswagens. Imagine that, a tiny toy car worth more than multiple full-sized vehicles. So, if you've got any old Hot Wheels stashed away, especially those pink vans, it's time to dig them out. You might just be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Chapter 5. Barbie, more than just a pretty face and a tiny waist. She's iconic, she's fashionable, and she might just be your ticket to early retirement. That's right, we're talking about Barbie. But not just any Barbie, we're talking about the rare and valuable ones. Like the original 1959 Barbie, decked out in her black and white striped swimsuit and signature ponytail. This vintage beauty can fetch up to $27,000. That's like enough to buy a whole wardrobe of designer clothes. But even if you don't have the original, don't worry. Other rare Barbies, especially those with unique outfits or accessories, can still be worth a pretty penny. So check your attics, folks, because Barbie might just be your financial fairy godmother. Chapter 6. Lego, Building Your Way to Riches. Legos. Those colorful bricks of creativity have been a childhood staple for generations. But did you know that some Lego sets are now worth a small fortune? We're talking about rare sets like the Millennium Falcon, the Taj Mahal, and the Death Star. These massive sets, with their intricate details and thousands of pieces, are highly sought after by collectors. And their value? Well, let's just say you could probably build a real house with the money you'd get from selling one. So if you've got any old Lego sets gathering dust in the attic, it's time to dust them off and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. Chapter 7. Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye and the Bank Account. From robots in disguise to valuable collectibles, Transformers have come a long way. And some of those early Transformers toys are now worth a serious chunk of change. We're talking about rare figures like Optimus Prime, Megatron, and Soundwave. These transforming robots, with their intricate details and die-cast metal parts, are highly sought after by collectors. And their value? Well, let's just say you could probably buy a real-life transforming car with the money you'd get from selling one. So if you've got any old Transformers stashed away, it's time to dig them out and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. Chapter 8. Cabbage Patch. Kids, remember these little rascals? Remember those Cabbage Patch Kids? The ones with the yarn hair and the adoption papers? Well, those adorable little rascals could be worth a lot more than you think, especially the early models from the 1980s. These original Cabbage Patch Kids, with their unique features and quirky personalities, are highly sought after by collectors. And their value? Well, let's just say you could probably adopt a whole nursery of real babies with the money you'd get from selling a rare one. So if you've got any Cabbage Patch Kids hiding in your attic, it's time to dig them out and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. Chapter 9. Beanie Babies, From Beanbag to Big Bucks. Remember the Beanie Baby craze? Those little beanbag animals took the world by storm. And while most Beanie Babies aren't worth much these days, there are a few rare ones that could make you a small fortune. We're talking about Princess the Bear, Claude the Crab, and Valentino the Bear. These rare Beanie Babies, with their unique features and limited production runs, are highly sought after by collectors. And their value? Well, let's just say you could probably buy a real-life castle for Princess the Bear with the money you'd get from selling one. So, if you've got any Beanie Babies stashed away, it's time to check their tags and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. Chapter 10. Pokemon Cards, Gotta Catch 'Em All and Cash In. Pokemon. Those pocket monsters took the world by storm, and their trading cards became a global phenomenon. And some of those early Pokemon cards are now worth more than a Master Ball. We're talking about rare cards like Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur. These holographic cards, with their powerful attacks and iconic status, are highly sought after by collectors. And their value? Well, let's just say you could probably buy a real-life Pokemon with the money you'd get from selling a rare one. So if you've got any old Pokemon cards stashed away, it's time to dig them out and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. So there you have it, folks. 10 old toys that could be worth a fortune today. From board games to action figures to trading cards, your childhood memories could be hiding some serious cash. Imagine finding out that the toys you played with as a kid are now worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, what are you waiting for? Go raid your attics, dig through those old boxes, and see if you're sitting on a gold mine. You never know what treasures you might uncover. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more awesome content, and let me know in the comments which of these toys you had growing up. Share your stories and memories with us. Who knows, maybe you're already sitting on a small fortune. In the next video, we're going to be diving into the world of vintage video games. That's right, those dusty old cartridges could be worth some serious cash. We'll explore which games are the most valuable and why. So stay tuned for that, and as always, thanks for watching. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to share more exciting finds with you.